Welcome back. You were saying something before we went on the break.
Yeah, you were talking about...
Does a person who is addicted know he's addicted?
They don't. What I told you is, they know that they are addicted, but how can they come out of it?
Do they really want to come out of it?
That is the question. Because one, the brain has been conditioned, the system has been conditioned to take it. So how do they come out of it? That is when they need the advice of counselors.
Okay. Now, Mr. Palomo, we know that cocaine is expensive. Heroin is expensive. From your experience, do you find many people who are actually using these expensive drugs?
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
how can they afford them?
I want to add to that even codeine is expensive. A bottle of codeine now should be about 2,000 something. And I have met people who take at least averagely 8, 9, 10 bottles a day. Now, I'm very young ones. So you will know that it's expensive to maintain. And that's why, for me, I see drug abuse as mother of crimes. To be able to feed that habit, you need so much money. And to get that kind of money, he doesn't need a regular pay. If he's in a regular pay, probably needs to embezzle, to misappropriate, to do some other things to be able to get so much money to do the drugs. So the drugs are expensive, yes, but the typical addict is also very daring because he wants to take his drugs as at when due. And he needs money,
so to speak.
And he needs so much money to be able to do it. So whatever he can do to get the money, he will do. And that's why I think, for me, the problem is not just about the addict. The problem is also about the non-addict. Because when the addict on cocaine, on heroin, on codeine and these drugs, when they are desperate to get money to do drugs, the non-addict is at risk.
Yeah.
Your properties, your substances, and all of that, you are at danger of being deprived of those things to want to turn them to money to feed their habits.
Okay, go ahead.
How easy is your job, therefore, to get them out of this addiction?
Good. For me, it's challenging. Not easy, not difficult, so to say. It's challenging in that we must look at the dynamics that even made the person go into the habit in the first place. Once you are able to deal with that, it becomes easy to deal with the habit. Unfortunately, for a very long time, we've been looking at the drug itself and the person. We're not looking at the factors that led him into doing drugs and that kept him there. You see, somebody who took a puff of cigarette and does not like the effect on himself is likely not to take it the second time. But for the one who does it and who feels it has done something to him, is probably going to take it again. So we need to look at what led that person to it. Could it be peer pressure? If yes, why? Was it because he had low self-esteem and needs acceptance? So if you want to say we should not fall for peer pressure, and we are not helping him to build his right self-esteem, we have really not done anything. The one that is stressed and uses drug to relieve himself of stress, how do we give him an alternative to be able to manage his stress? So if without resorting to drugs. Someone has learning disability and he feels that if he takes marijuana, it helps him to concentrate. Whether the ordinary person thinks it's a lie or not, for him, that is what marijuana does to him.
Yeah.
So we need to rewire him kind of and help him to learn without actually going into use of drugs. If we do that, I think it becomes easy for us to do our job.
Okay, the question of the abuse of prescription drugs, codeine is codeine a prescription drug?
Yes.
So I do know that in some climes, Victor says in the US, if you're caught with codeine, not prescribed, you go to jail. Do we have the kind of legislation?
No, we do not have that legislation here in Nigeria now. The NDLEA is concerned more with narcotics, so to say. Marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and the likes. But right now, and that is one of the reasons why the young ones now, in trying to beat the law, tend to go more for prescription drugs. Because those ones are not prohibited by law. If you walk up to a pharmacy, you could buy codeine.
Over the counter.
But not necessarily over the counter, but in a pharmacy. You could buy tramadol, buy Rofinol, you could buy all those drugs. And these drugs are prescribed. Somebody can even get a doctor to prescribe it for him, and he goes to buy, just because he wants to get high on that.
Let me stay with you because
sniff glue.
Yeah, and those things are not prescribed. Anybody can be with gum, anybody can be with glue, and no, but the law cannot.
You mentioned something earlier when Aleo asked you a question, and he said, I'm speaking from the point of experience,
yes,
but as one who had used drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. I asked a question to Sonny earlier as well about those who are addicted. Do they know they are addicted? How does one know that he or she is addicted, and how can the person get out?
Good. Our addiction has to do with physical and psychological dependence. At that point, it's as if the person has lost his will to the drug of abuse. That is what controls him now. Mm-hmm. He virtually believes that he cannot survive without it. His life depends on it entirely. And nobody just jumps into becoming an addict. From experimentation, there's use, misuse, abuse, and all of that before the person becomes an addict. At the point of addict, he's crying out for help. The addict wants help. He wants to get out of that situation. But sometimes he's afraid of getting out, believing that if he gets out of it, he's going to end his life because of withdrawal symptoms and the rest of them. And two, there are no sufficient avenues to get the help that he desires. Because for most people in town, they believe that if it's a choice, if someone chooses to use drugs, he could choose also to say, I'm not using again. But at the point of addiction, it has gotten beyond just choice. The person needs help, professional help, to be able to get out of it at that point, which in our society is negligible.
You want to say something?
Well, you have just said it all. But what I want to say is those that are addicted, it's just like somebody is having a health issue. If you have a headache, you meet a doctor so that the doctor can diagnose you and know the right medication. So also those who are addicted, you should come out, look for a counselor, make yourself available so that you can be helped. Until you come out of this thing, there is no way you can be helped.
Well, how do we take care of the issue of stigmatization?
That's why I want that sometimes, you see, we do not. Here in Nigeria, I think there's so much stigma attached to anything that has to do with mental health, so to say. And for me, drug addiction is not just only a health issue, it's also a social issue.
Yeah.
And it's also a social issue. And until we are able to balance it, I think the issue of stigmatization will still be there. And that's why, for me, I think some of us, like somebody like me and the rest of them out there, who have been there and out, we need to give drug abuse a human face. Let people see it, that this thing is not as bad as, in quote, as they think it is. It's like any other illness, and people can come out of it. And that will help beat down the stigmatization. People would see that there are people who have gone through that path, they are off it and they are doing something productive with their lives. That will help. So when you are meeting someone who is in that shoe, you'll be able to know that it's just like every other normal human being, and something can be done, something good can come out of his life. But if we stay behind, we hide. This, and the only impression people have is the people along the street, the garages, and all of that. When we think about drug, that's exactly what first comes to mind.
Area
the
boys.
issue of stigmatization will continue to increase. But I want to let you know, sirs, that the drug that abuse, the consumption of drug in the so-called high brow areas of our nation is even much more. Me, I can tell you that. I can tell you that. I know. Like people I deal with, I know. Even in the so-called private universities and all of that, you'll be amazed the rate of drug consumption in those places.
Now that you mentioned private universities and institutions, as we begin to wind down, Festus Akimboewa says, maybe you talk about this, drug problems do not happen in isolation. Government should tackle inequalities in education, health, criminal justice, and the economy. But he said it's higher even in the highbrow areas where they have education, where they have health, where they have the criminal, where they seem to have justice and good economy. So why is it higher in that angle?
Well, it is like what we said before. Whether you're illiterate, you are prone to it. It doesn't respect color, it doesn't respect tradition, it doesn't respect whether you're Christian. So it's high because people feel it is a way of life. People want to make it as if this is what I want to live for. Now, we talk about the social aspect of it. It is also high because of the fact that, especially for the youth, there is no job for these young people to do.
Okay. In closing.
Yes, for me, there are people who are rich, but they don't feel good. They seem to get all the smotherings from their rich parents, but they are not touching base with the reality of life. And they seem to get that with drugs. Drugs make them to feel that. And when they try it, they feel good with that. So in trying to escape, they resort to drug. And some is in outright rebellion. So
parents have a major role to play. All right, thank you so much. We've been speaking with Tunde Kpalemo, a representative of the Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministry, KADAM, and Sonny Irakbo, anti-drug abuse advocate. Thank you both for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much.
So as we'll be back, don't go away.